Guys, Black Clover is just so much fun week to week. Right now, the manga is in a great place, and honestly, where this latest chapter decided to leave off is exactly where I want to be, so I am very happy. With the previous chapter, we had the grueling continuation of the Soul Chain deathmatch between Dante and Magna. And this was an especially arduous bout as these two were just going blow for blow against one another. However, Dante is someone who possesses incredible regenerative capabilities, and so he was able to heal throughout this battle, as Magna on the other hand was still getting bruised and battered. And although Dante sought domination and the expression of his superiority, he wasn't the only one with something to prove here, as Magna had to catch up to the other members of the Black Bulls, namely Asta and Luck. In fact, he would recall a moment in which he questioned why exactly it was that Yami welcomed him into the Black Bulls. I mean, come on, he is a peasant of low magic. Sure, the other members of the Black Bulls are crazy and all over the place, but they are very capable and very bizarre in their capabilities as well. They're unique. And so he felt like he couldn't exactly compare. However, Yami would recognize his willingness to compare and consider him to be very gutsy. And with that, Magna refused to go down. He refused to lose this fight. Having so profusely studied magic arrays over the last few months, this was his time to shine. And just as things were beginning to look terrible for him, the moment that victory seemed to be within Dante's grasp, he would lose all his power. As it turns out, having always been so powerful, he was unaware of how to properly regulate his magical output, and as such, depleted them both to nothing. They no longer had any magic to call upon. And so from there, it was just a straight up fistfight between the two, wherein Magna would emerge victorious. You gotta understand that Magna's from the trenches. He has been in a couple of fights here and there, so he knows how to handle himself here, whereas Dante was probably relying on his magic a whole lot throughout his life. And this incredible victory was one that Asta and Luck would bear witness to in the end. With this latest chapter, after having released this incredible battle cry, Magna would begin to falter as Zoro would be the one to catch him and firstly congratulate him on his victory. And from there, the others would rush in to join as well. Seeing Dante on the ground, Asta was at first at a loss for words, but then now shaking with excitement and admiration, he would speak of how Magna took down a guy that he and Captain Yami barely won against together. So yeah, this is really impressive, which it totally is, and I love seeing him get this praise, but it would not stop there, as Luck too would join in on the fun, as he would say that he cannot wait to fight him in the future as well. Pretty much the exact sentiment I expected to come from Luck, as he is a battle-crazed junkie that has always believed in Magna. Even when he was refused the tutelage of the mana method, Luck never lost faith that he would figure it out. Rivalries in shonen stories are a pretty common occurrence that can be really fun. And so I love when secondary rivalries are provided focus as well, as for me at least, Yuno's a pretty boring rival, so I may even have preference towards this one, to be honest. And now, having seen this fight in its entirety, Jack was just over here just speechless, as Magna really did it. He saw it all the way through. And he, like Magna, was not of noble birth. He was just a commoner, but even with that, he became a captain and would never lose to even a royal or a noble. It didn't matter. And he certainly had his doubts about Yami's decision making in the past, but here he was damn impressed and was really glad that he got to see something interesting. I mean, he was going as hard as he could against Dante, but was only able to do so much. And so for Magna to have pulled this off is nothing to scoff at or take lightly. I mean, even Not was impressed. A Dark Triad member at 100% devil power would be equivalent to a highest ranking devil. So for something like this to happen is uncanny. This is something that not even he could do. But regardless, this to him was a happy miscalculation. This was beneficial to them in the end. But elsewhere, Morris would continue his progression of the tree, but would recognize that Dante has lost. And as yet another magic junkie of this series, he would question what exactly was used to take him down. Now with Dante gone, the progression of the tree was to be disturbed in some capacity, but it would not be enough as they needed to take care of the other two in order to stop it completely. And after conveying this information to the group, Not would then provide them some healing crackers. There were only so many left, but it was better than nothing. And I don't know if I'm just forgetting something, but I don't think I've ever seen healing crackers in this series. Do we have sensu beans or something now? Go ahead and let me know if you recognize these things. I don't. I'm just very curious if this is a pre-established thing or if this is a new phenomenon that we are witnessing. From here, the Three Stooges, the Shorty Squad if you will, were all excited to go ahead and save Yami. Unfortunately, they wouldn't be able to traverse through the shadows to where the Dark Triad members were, simply because of the magical influence here, which is way too strong for not to handle. And so instead they were left to go on foot. And they do have some injured with them, so they would be slowed down a bit, but they are ready to go. But now moments later, Dante would arise, and he would arise in a gnarly state. He was not looking right at all. He didn't look human at all. He could not fathom the fact that he had lost here. The mere contemplation of it was enough to drive him to madness, as just then making his way back, it was Jack. With the enemy being a member of the Dark Triad, he expected something of the sort. But now, couldn't help but smile when looking at him, as the body that Dante was oh so proud of was now in a monstrous form. He was utterly deranged and repulsive, as the power of his regeneration was too much for his body to handle and control. And his speech was just as vulgar as his looks, but Jack did not want to hear it anymore, as he wouldn't let him ruin the kid's victory and would end him. Elsewhere, the other members of the group continued to rush forwards and onwards, as the further aid of the Heart Kingdom was a big sigh of relief for them. And if luck was here, that would mean that other people were here in particular as well. As we would then resume our fight between VANICA and the two Magic Knight captains, Charlotte and Rill. And at this point, the battle was no longer in the favor of our two captains here, as even in limiting VANICA's cursed magic, she was still plenty strong with her blood magic alone. But then again, much to our surprise, she was actually not by her lonesome any longer, as in her possession was the Princess of the Heart Kingdom, Lolopechka, who now had cursed magic all on her body, very much like the pawns that VANICA was using previously. But obviously, Lolopechka is very, very powerful. And this is pretty sad. It seems as though they've been passing her around the group, as Morris used her previously in regards to her magic for the sake of furthering the tree's expanse. And VANICA, being as sadistic as ever, was using her just like a little doll and was praising her, happy that she is now using all her power full throttle and running wild. Princess Lolopechka was already very powerful. Her magic was absurdly strong to begin with as a royal, but now was even further augmented by the power of curse magic, making her truly terrifying indeed. And in seeing this, Charlotte could not help but feel a sort of familiarity, as previously she was taken advantage of in a similar way during the elf invasion arc. For this reason, she would swear to rid the princess of this curse, but just then would be captured by VANICA as she would charge in for attack, simultaneously questioning why everyone can't just focus on what matters, the fight at hand. But just before she could deliver this seemingly fatal blow, she would be stopped by none other than our girl Noelle, who would just stab straight into her with her spiraling waves, as Gaja would clutch onto the princess. Noelle was here just as she had sworn to do, and VANICA was delighted. You could see the ecstasy on her face, and that was the chapter. I am so excited here. Noelle is my favorite character in the series, and so to see her go off like this, to get her revenge against VANICA, is going to be incredible. Not to mention the fact that Lolopechka is now under her control is just going to take this fight to the next level. Black Clover really does know how to bring intensity to its fights, and this is going to be no exception. And I am also looking forward to furthering the discussion in the comments, so please let us know what you thought about this chapter down below. And while you're at it, subscribe to Plot Armor with notifications to never miss a single upload when it comes to this greatness. If you don't already know, over on Instagram and Twitter, we currently have a giveaway going on where you have your chance to win every single volume of My Hero Academia or every single volume of Black Clover, so don't miss your chance to participate as the giveaway ends on June 5th. Again, you can find the details on Instagram and Twitter at PlotArmorYT, because when it comes to bringing you some of the best Black Clover content on the platform, Plot Armor has you covered. As always, I'm Slice of Otaku. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.